I'd like to call this meeting of the West South Milwaukee School Board to order. Ms. Steele, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Sarah, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Deal?
Here.
Mr. Sikich?
Present.
Mr. Keller?
Here.
Mrs. Carr?
Here.
Mr. Becker? Mr. Burns?
Present.
Mrs. Lee?
Here.
Mrs. Kaiser?
Here.
President Lee?
Here. Proper notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the open meeting laws of the state of Wisconsin. Do we have modifications to the agenda this evening?
There are no modifications.
All right, we're going to move right into our presentation by Horace Mann. So the board, if we can move over to the chairs here in the audience.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We can do a little better. Good evening. I'm Dr. Minzlov. I'm the proud principal of Horace Mann Elementary, and we're here tonight. We've got some of our 4K and our first grade scholars here to share all that they've been learning. Our theory of action this year is all based off around fast reading and math. Today, what we're going to be really looking at is how we're using data to check for understanding for our scholars, see what we have to do, how are we monitoring that. And so on this next slide, what you'll see is our 30-day challenge. So the SAIL work that we did at the beginning of November was really taking a look at our phonics small group instruction. And so we're really looking at what we've been working on with Act 20 and our letters training that we've been doing since the beginning of the school year. How are we working to meet the needs of our scholars? And so on this next slide, what you'll see is the data that we've been collecting. And so we're looking at where our students are at, who needs a little bit more support. And so what you're going to see tonight is exactly what our teachers are working with when they're working in small groups, when they're working one-on-one, to show where our data is and where we need to get our students. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Houston, who is one of our DLCs. And she's going to bring up Ms. Hishma and some of our 4K scholars and get us started. So thank you.
I'm the deeper learning coach at Horace Mann Elementary School, Jen Houston, and I am really just here to introduce our 4K teacher, Amanda Hishma, and her 4-year-old friend. So it's time for you guys to come up. Come on. So you see what we're going to be practicing a lot in 4K is all of our letter sounds and our letter name. And you're going to see some of the routines that they will be doing. And you might get a chance to practice this yourself.
Okay. So in 4K, obviously it's very the basics, the starting. So we're really working on our letter identification and our letter sounds. And we've really been working on our sound ball, which is how your mouth forms to help you learn the sound of the letters. So these guys are going to help you see how we do that. So you guys hear your here. All right, so we use these little tubs and they have little individual items in them that the kids think are super cool. And so, give you this one. You drop that one. Okay. You get that, buddy? Got it? All right. All right, Dan, we're gonna start with you. What do you have in your hand? Net. Everybody look in your mirror. Look in your mirror and say net. Good job. When you notice your mouth, is your mouth open like this one where your tongue is behind your teeth, or is your mouth closed? Open. Open. So this one is for N. Good job. All right, Lacey, what do you have? Milk. Milk. All right. What? All right, everybody look in your mirror and say milk. Milk. Look in your mirror, Liam. Milk. How does your mouth look? Open? Like this one, or closed like this one? Closed, so it says, All right, Molly, what do you have?
No.
Yep, Everybody look in your mirror, say, nose. How does your mouth look? Is your mouth open like the sound or closed like the sound?
Open.
Open, good job. All right, Jarrell, what do you have? Show everybody. A mouse. Everybody look in your mirror. Say mouse. How does your mouth look? Closed like the sound or open like the sound? Try one more time. Close. Good job. So that's how we practice sounds. We do 2 letters every week following our scholastic curriculum. And that's how we're working on those. So good.
Any board members willing to try the mirror themselves?
Do you guys want to see if you can have them try?
You want to give them
Go
to
take a mirror
someone?
to one of these friends in the front row. Go give your mirror to one of these guys in the front row. Pick one. Be super quiet.
Yeah, super quiet. Let's point down there.
Make sure she's doing it right.
All right, Liam, you pick something you want them to sound out. How about this one? Okay, Charlotte would say, this is a what?
Necklace.
Okay, say, look in your mirrors and say necklace, right? Say, is your mouth open or closed?
Open.
Yeah. So these mirrors are new, so they were super funny at first, because they were like, you know, but they're really getting good at them, so. That's it. You wanna go to the mirrors?
Amanda,
We'll
can
get
you-
mirrors from everybody.
Yes, sure. Can you just briefly then tell the reason, I guess, the audience?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Dr. Robinson just asked what the purpose of the mirrors are. So we're trying to mirror with the mirrors. How our mouth looks according to the sound wall, so that we make sure that our tongue is in the right place, our teeth are in the right place, and our lips are in the right place as well. Yes.
So, Amanda,
Yeah.
did you come up with this, or is this something that was provided by the resource? The mirrors and all of those things.
Not really sure where I got the mirrors. I think the mirrors actually came from kindergarten.
We purchased the mirrors.
Yeah.
So First grade was using them already
First
last
grade,
year,
yeah.
and then through our letters training that we were doing, we then noticed that obviously was something that was of benefit, and so a number of different grade levels have now obviously added that to their smaller science routine, and then added those years in as a result of it, and then your little objects you already had.
I did. And I mean, I noticed like last year, I would say, look at my mouth, make sure, you know, see, but now that they can see theirs and see where they're doing it either correctly or incorrectly. You know, like today we were doing S's and a lot of my friends were putting their tongue out instead of behind their teeth. And so I could correct them by saying, look in the mirror, where's your tongue? So, and they loved them. So,
And really how smart to use real life data. That's, I think it doesn't work in the first grade. Let's start this in working.
yeah. And it's, I can already see a difference because even if they don't know their letters, to be able to tell if their mouth is open or closed is already like a big step.
Yeah.
And to see where to place everything is, it's big. I can already see a difference, so. Hope that works. Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So next up, although we're gonna skip the kindergarten, what you see in kindergarten, we'll skip all the way ahead to what first grade looks like, and what their center time looks like. So you'll see towards the end of their presentation, what is more of a teacher led, but what they're gonna share is what centers look like. So you're going to see what it looks like when they practice their handwriting, when they practice their grammar, and for grammar, getting up and about the room and make it fun and exciting, and then also their word work. So you'll see blending letters together to make words, because that's how we progress. We get the sounds and now we're making words. So Team Believe, Miss Jenny Day and Miss Trina House, come on up and good. You're up, you're ready. All of you, all stars.
So this is the way we run our centers. Our centers run on a 4-day cycle. So the kids spend their entire time in one center for the day, so that we're not wasting our time doing transitions. So they're must-dos. They are either in the library, light table, write the room, or writing center. They have the district apps to go on. We give them check-ins every 15 to 20 minutes. And if they finish their must-dos, then we have tubs with activities at their level that they can go and choose from, so that they're never out of work to do. So that as teachers, we can really meet the kids in the small groups where they're at. So we're gonna go through, and the first center is the library center, and Jemiah is gonna talk to you about what we do in the library center. We tell them what we do when we're in the library center.
We draw our favorite part of the book.
From our daily read aloud. And then what else do you put on your picture?
The main character of the book.
And what did you write by your main character?
The gingerbread girl
And this is called a what?
label.
A label. And then what did you do down here at the bottom?
Write a sentence.
A sentence. Can you read that sentence?
I see the gingerbread girl. I like to help my mom make gingerbread.
Do you want to show? So as a first grader, she did a really good job.
Very good job.
Thanks. Thanks.
We don't need to.
Yep. We just wanted to
Good quiz on that.
Want to talk.
Yep.
And our next center is Write the Room. So Adeline, can you talk about what you do when it's Write the Room?
I write the sockets and the Santa Claus and cookies. And
And our classroom, where are the classroom?
and my sister's room.
Are they at your table spot or are they hanging somewhere
Hang this somewhere.
on the walls?
Yep.
So it's kind of like a mini scavenger hunt where students are up and walking around and they are looking for pictures that have labels, and the labels are written between the lines. So this is, yep, is that good?
Yep.
And what are we working really hard on to make sure our letters sit where?
On the lines.
Working on using lowercase letters too.
We don't want the letters to fly away.
Our third center is
But my name is Adeline.
Adeline. Our next center is our writing center. They're working on grammar, different nouns and pronouns, and coming up with a sentence that matches their picture. Oh, sorry, I think I stole your thunder there, Nina. What do you want to talk about?
You want to talk through this?
Yes, why don't
So
you
just
talk
like
through
we
what you
did
did?
in the video, okay?
See.
Sentence, want to start there?
Yeah.
Yeah, your sentence up front.
I fix a snow globe on the table.
So that was the sentence you were working on, and what are good things that sentences have?
Uppercase first. You can't forget punctuation.
Punctuation, yeah. What is the punctuation you put at the end of your sentence?
Period.
And then we also have what?
Finger spaces.
Show your picture to you. Did a great job. You kind of see it up
Labels
there
are also included too.
She even drew her hand, actually. She.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, Kalei, are you ready to talk about the light table?
Yes.
Okay.
Want to talk about what it looks like, Kalei, so we can see it there on the screen, on the video we took today. What is the light table?
Is where we see the pictures of the pictures that have on the things, and I write the words and I put bag right here, and then I put under the lines I put a the under the there's pictures of the what are they on the
Cards, right? And so you're working on doing a beginning, a middle, and an ending sound. If you want to read some of the words, you can try tapping them and squeeze them or read them.
first I got bag.
How would you tap that? Can you tap that? Let's see the sound.
Good. And then the
What word is that?
dog.
The light table too is also differentiated where the kids are. So some friends are working on CBC words, some friends are working at CBCE or vowel teams. So the kids are always working at their skill level in their centers.
And thumb
Yeah, read that.
pig.
So, and then we're gonna have Oliver come up, and Oliver is going to use one of our favorite things to segment the sounds in our room, which are the puppets. Can you show everyone the puppets? All right, so if I give you a word, can you pop the word? Okay, you ready for the one we practice?
Yeah.
Okay, the word is quick. Can you say quick? Can you segment it on your fingers? Can you pop it? What's it mean? What is a quick?
To say something.
To say something. Good. Do you want to try one more? You want to try a different one?
Sure.
What about fish? So how do you spell fish? Can you spell it? We didn't practice this.
Fish.
But if there's only 3 sounds, why are there 4 letters? Yeah, 2 letters, 1 sound. Do you remember the big fancy word for that?
What?
Do you remember what those are called? That's ancient Greek.
Diagram.
Yeah, I knew you knew that. Thank you, my friends. And then Cora is going to lead the board members through mapping letter. Okay.
Might have to share, we only have 6.
I was just.
So what you have in front of you are sound boxes. Okay, are you ready? You ready? Go ahead.
Say the word think.
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 Thanks, okay.
How many sounds are in the word think? Write 4 lines.
They have the sound box, so they're gonna use the 4 sound. 4 spaces.
Tap it. Tapping.
Sound.
It's the first sound. How do you spell it? Is it voiced or unvoiced? No.
Can you explain to them why it's unvoiced?
It's unvoiced because voiced is not. You put if it's voiced, it tickles from the back of your throat, but if it's unvoiced, it comes out of your mouth.
Oh.
What's the second sound? How do you spell it? What's the third sound?
Oh, no, say no. Say not.
Not mm. Is it voiced or unvoiced? How do you spell What's the last sound? How do you spell
Together.
Let's blend it together. A thing.
We were talking to about the letters that 4K brought to you today, so what kind of letters are those, Cora? The M and the N? Remember that word? They're nasals, so you need to use the air. Do you want to ask them what to do, or do you want me to do it?
No, me.
Okay, go for it.
Plug your nose and say thank. Did you see how you just said thank?
And you missed that because with the M and the N and the you need the air coming out of your nose. So those are the purposes of the mirrors and knowing exactly where the air is coming through. And as a first grade teacher, if you think about like D and T, so say zip, zip, they will mix up the sound. So you have to really pay attention to where the tongue is in your mouth. So for zip, it's behind there, but it's hitting it through. So the mirrors come coupled and they're really the same segmentation of those. Thank you.
I wrote it down, but I erased it. Yeah, that's why I erased it.
14 hours of keys literacy. Are we all done?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, can we have one more round of applause for our students and staff? I think that was a very enlightening demonstration about the science behind learning to read. And so thank you so much for preparing for the meeting tonight, for coming and showing the board what's going on at Horace Mann in part. And thank you for the families for being here. I know this might be a little bit later than maybe you want to be out and about with your young ones. So thank you so much for taking the time to bring them here so we could hear from them today. So with that, I guess we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
So good evening. I also want to echo the comments of the board president. Outstanding job to our students and our teachers, Dr. Menslaw, your team, for preparing. It was a good opportunity to see our early literacy program in action. And I want to alert the board members there will be a test after this meeting, so.
Doing the training.
All right.
Thank you.
Legislative updates. Dane County Judge rules elements of 2011 Act 10 unconstitutional. A Dane County judge has restored collective bargaining powers for public employees who lost them under 2011's Act 10. Judge Jacob Frost ruled sections of the law unconstitutional because the statute treated some public safety employees differently from others in law enforcement. The 2011 law barred general employees from negotiating for anything other than base wage increases capped by changes in the consumer price index. There's more that we're trying to figure out from this. We have been in contact with our attorneys to figure out what what the implications are and what are the results of these things. So we've been told, hold off, no changes, just try to figure out and let things come out. And so that's directly from Sabian, but I did want to make sure that everyone is aware of that being stricken down. Our district recognitions. I'm going to ask our Assistant Superintendent, Aaron Norris, to come on up. I want to publicly recognize him. He's the gentleman who's always doing these fancy reports and going through things. Come on, stand in the middle, man. We got to recognize you. So the other day, we received the preliminary findings from our audit report for this year. And so based on our preliminary audit report and for the second consecutive year, our auditors at Baker Tilly have informed us that we have no material audit findings in our financial review.
Yes.
This is reflective of the work from many stakeholders who have developed, implemented, and or followed robust processes to maintain financial stewardship. I asked Aaron to stand up because he is the gentleman who, would get the bad rap if something was bad on this report, but he gets the great rap. He gets the good credit. And we don't often do that enough to give people their flowers. And so I definitely want to give you a special shout out tonight. I also want to thank your team, Mr. Jeff Borland, Mike Lukomsky, Joan Rankin, Sarah Pond, Lindsay Kay, Jessica Johnson, Jill Rinkowski, Connie Bergman, and Mike Thron. So outstanding leadership, though. That's the thing I wanted to highlight, your leadership within this effort, because it has taken a lot. And I realized throughout this year we've gone out and visited and tried to just change the tone of things and try to really put in processes. And you have done that. And so again, shout out to you and your team for another perfect audit. Recreation Department, we would like to recognize Ty Stahl and Maggie Obst for their leadership in executing the West Allis Christmas Parade on behalf of our department. We would also like to recognize Maggie for hosting our first ever Kinder Market, which allowed our youth entrepreneurs to display and sell their personally made goods. There is a Christmas tree that you see right here that's actually in my office area. And Sarah has decorated it and put it on display. So we definitely want to send a shout out to those kids for the excellent work. And as far as the parade was concerned, outstanding job by that team. I also wanted to recognize the Horace, Mann, FLW, and Nathan Hill choirs for singing at the tree lighting ceremony on Saturday night. And for those board members who also attended the tree lighting and parade, thank you for coming out. I also, tonight's the Recreations Department shout out night, I guess. Thank you to the Zeman Family Foundation for their generous donation, which provided gifts to over 700 families. And thank you to all who came out to support this magical event. The rec team, again, I was complaining to Shelly about getting up at 6:30 and she looked at me and said, try 4:30. I said, let me be quiet. Outstanding job. I was talking to Mr. Becker on Sunday and he complimented your team on the organization and how, you guys managed to get that many kids and adults through the process and with volunteers that were readily available. outstanding job. I also had another slide on here. I want to make sure I give a shout out to Shining Streams, Mary Pat Michaels, all of our school administration for participating and staff as well, and our student volunteers. There were so many volunteer groups out from our high schools as well as our middle schools, helping families shop on during this event. And again, Mr. Greg Zeman, I couldn't be more excited and happy of his continued support of our district. If you see him, you just wouldn't even know that he doesn't even want the credit. And so he has this humbling spirit about him, and we're just grateful that he's a part of our community and continues to be a part and give back to the district that gave him so much. So thank you to Shelley, her team, as well as to Mr. Greg Zeman and the foundation. Do a quick follow-up on the report card. In digging through our data, we often compare ourselves to other districts, and the comparison that I dug into was looking at district comparisons. Districts would have comparable enrollment and demographics. Okay, and so in looking at the following districts: Greenfield, Sheboygan, Janesville, and Beloit, and compared as far as report card is concerned, we were first on this list of 5 districts. And as you can see, very similar in size. I think Greenfield is a little smaller, but the main thing are the demographics, because when you're talking about report card, you're talking about socioeconomic and things of that nature. So that's important to highlight. But I just want to send a shout out again to our principals for their outstanding job in improving scores for our students district-wide. Community visits, cabinet one-on-one meetings, board member one-on-one meetings, Docky Thanksgiving feast, the RAD Rec Department Thanksgiving luncheon, basketball games at Central and Hill. Attended the production of Mary Poppins Jr. Data Coding Committee meeting, and I just want to kind of highlight, this is where we're making a concerted effort to make sure that our coding is correct and accurate for different special populations, such as socioeconomic, our ELL population. We have to make sure that we're coding right, because when it comes to report card, these kind of things are reflected. So I met with Corey and Mike Thron, and we sat down, we looked at comparisons from last year to this year. We're just trying to make sure that all of our numbers are correct and so and accurate, because also this could affect funding if we're not accurate. So just something that we're putting in place to do quarterly to make sure that we have our numbers accurate. Nathan Hill Career Fair, The Voice Student Advisory Committee, we met. High School Counselor Monthly Meeting, I sat in on that particular meeting. I mentioned Mr. Greg Zeman already and the Zeman Family Foundation. City of West Allis Tree Lighting, as well as mentioned the Christmas Parade as well. I want to bring up at this time, we have several cast members from Mary Poppins Jr. Would you please come up? Please come up. When I tell you that my daughter and I left the performance blown away, I'm still blown away. I told everybody who would listen to me, you gotta go see this. You gotta go see it. And so I'm gonna, Shelly, are you gonna do it or you want me to do it? All right, you're gonna take over?
Oh, did you want to?
Yeah, I want to warn you, you got about 2 minutes.
Oh, really?
Not really. I'm joking, but I am joking, but I just want.
Yeah, we just finished our intermediate school production of Mary Poppins Jr. Yesterday. We couldn't get more of the cast here because they're frantically trying to get the set knocked down tonight because of the 2 concerts that are going on in Central, I think, this week. But we were able to get these 3 lovely people. Why don't you guys step up, introduce yourselves, maybe, of course, your name, what grade you're in, what part you were, and maybe how many shows you've done with WAW and theater. Yeah.
All right. My name is Eli.
Can you use your theater voice?
He's shy. I can't believe
No,
it.
it's not.
My name is Eli. I'm in 8th grade. This is my 11th show, and I play Bert.
Hello. My name is Sharik. I'm in 8th grade,
And this is my 9th show.
Hello. Hello. My name is Demaya Murray. I'm in 8th grade and this is my 2nd show.
Mary Poppins broke attendance records for our intermediate school shows, and I was so thrilled to see that, because it means that our program is working and it's growing, probably faster than I can keep up with. And that totally would not be possible without the support of Shelley Strasser and the rest of the Recreation Department staff and Dr. Robinson, and of course, the school board. We really do appreciate the support. This program is just taking off. It's just like, wow. We are now in our 3rd year, and for me, it's really been awesome as the managing director of the program, but also as a crusty old director for the past 30 years in our school district. My 30th year, God. It's fun watching these kids grow and learn by participating in our productions. This means so much to them in so many ways. The theater program isn't about just doing great shows. It's part of it. It's also about teaching them how to work as a team, learning how to communicate effectively, and I stress this with every production, learning how to acknowledge and accept each other's weaknesses and celebrate each other's strengths. And being able to do this with a smile on their face and no cell phone in their hand. It's great. It's great. You guys were great. Our next production will be performed by our high school students in January for the first time in many years, because we have the talent pool now that we are going to attempt a Shakespeare piece. It's called Much Ado About Nothing. It's a comedy, more or less. And it will be performed at Nathan Hale. It opens January 23rd and closes on the 26th. So again, thank you all for inviting us. And I think we're going to be back for right before Much Ado. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I did promise Heather Gandry and Jordan Pollard, our director producer, that we would take a picture of the school board with the kids. Can we do that?
Yes.
Okay, I need my phone.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah, you're on the board. Yep. This is what you
Middle and front. I just want you to understand that. Yeah. All right, either guy. Oh, no.
Were we in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna jump into.
Right.
Oh, you will? Okay, cool.
Lay across the front.
Yeah, right.
No.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Great job.
Great.
Everyone.
So much. I can't wait for what it is. Right, right.
While we have the cast here, if any one of the board members wanted to comment about the production, I would yield to you. Yes.
I would love to. My daughter stopped doing swim like a year ago, and we said, all right, if you're not gonna do swimming, you gotta do something. And she picked theater, and it's an absolute testament to the program that my daughter is a freshman in high school. She started in 8th grade, and the friendships and the camaraderie and the trust she has put into the people she works with. We love Sharik in our house. We know her very well. It's just, you have built a program for kids where they feel safe to put themselves out on a stage. And Ethan was in a show with my daughter for Damn Yankees. And as a former theater kid myself, I feel like you have created such a warm, inviting environment, and that is hard to do. And with 3 different schools and a whole different school, different districts. So if you haven't gone to see it, everyone watching, you have to go see these shows. Even if you don't know anything about theater, you will fall in love. So I'm just putting that out.
Oh, school board, I'm in the directory. If you want, you can send me an email. I might be able to arrange something.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Yes. And tonight, our student representative is Mr. Tobias Jesse. Mr. Jesse is a junior at West Allis Central. He's captain of the football team. He has a 4.0 GPA, and he's a member of the WAC leadership team. Mr. Jesse, I'm going to allow you to formally introduce yourself and your guests and tell us what's going on at Central.
Yep, my name is Toby Jesse. I'm a junior at West Allis Central, and those are my parents right there, Dave and Andrea Jesse. Things going on at Central. Next week, we have Spirit Week coming up. Just dress. I know there's like an ugly sweater day and a winter formal day. And also that Friday, we have something called Winter Wonder Fest. You hold a movie in the auditorium for those who have good grades and attendance. And there's also games. I know they're gonna have VR headsets and popcorn.
Very cool.
That's all.
All right. Thank you.
I understand you are the popular Jesse in your house, so
Best.
great job, young man. He agrees. He agrees. I told you I was gonna get the last shot on that one. So, I look forward to working with Tobias and during our voice time, and I want to thank him for stepping up tonight and representing. So outstanding job, and that concludes my report for this evening.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move on to item 8, our public comments this evening. There's no one currently signed up for public comments, but I'll leave 15 seconds for anyone who's watching on Zoom. If you'd like to sign up for public comments, should be a link in the chat to do so. So I'll wait 15 seconds to see if anyone signs up. Okay, seeing no one signed up, I will close public comments at this time. Move on to item 9, our board reports for this evening, starting at 9.1, a review of the board calendar. So today is December 9th. We have a regular Board of Education meeting. Our next meeting is on December 16th at 6 p.m. We have a regular Board of Education meeting. That'll be the last board meeting for the year. Then our next meeting is on January 13th at 6 p.m. A regular board meeting. And then we have a financial stability and efficiency workshop on enrollment projections and open enrollment seats for the 25-26 school year and financial RFP bid review. And then January 27th, we have a regular Board of Education meeting. Moving on to 9.2, our board committee reports. 9.2.1, college and career readiness, Ms. Kaiser.
Thank you very much. We met tonight. We had a student reach out to us and advocated for more AP courses being offered to our freshmen and sophomores. As a committee, we were very much in favor of moving forward with next steps on this. And so we will be coming back probably after the new year, definitely after the new year, talking about we need to figure out what do we already offer? Do we have the staff to teach certain things? What are other districts doing to make this work? I just want to say a huge thank you to our student who came, Ethan Maldonado, for advocating for a change in our system that probably won't even affect him, but it will help students coming up to the high schools. And he was incredibly well spoken. And so I just wanted to say thank you for advocating. This was an issue we didn't know could be addressed, and hopefully we have some good movement on that coming up. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions regarding her report? Or any items to be considered at future agendas? Seeing none, thank you very much, Ms. Kaiser. We'll move on to 9.2.2, communication and community relations. Ms. Deal.
Our committee met on November 25th. So first thing we talked about was we had a discussion about open enrollment out. So the discussion centered around the fact that many of our community members, especially on the east side of West Allis, choose to open enroll their children outside our district. It was noted that most students who open enroll out of our district are attending MPS schools. It was agreed that the district needs to reach out to these families to get a better understanding of why they're choosing to open enroll out of WAWM. Open enrollment for next school year starts in early February, so the district will consider doing a postcard mailing advertising the benefits of sending their students to our district. And then the second thing was we talked about graduation for this year, this school year. So there's been some inquiries about having this year's June graduation ceremonies outside at the West Dallas Athletic Complex or at a different venue than WAC or the high schools. The district contacted several different venues to hold graduation, including State Fair Park, Fan Field, Franklin Field, Panther Arena, and the Cade. None of the venues have availability or are too expensive for the district to book. Exciting Events was contacted and they indicated that the cost for the event equipment and setup would start at $33,500. The current combined budgets for all of the high schools for graduation is around $23,000. A suggestion was made to have both high school graduations at the Central Fieldhouse so that graduates are not limited to 4 tickets to graduation. There was also discussion about having graduating classes engage in fundraising if they would like to have their graduation ceremony outside due to the significant cost. And that is our report.
Thank you very much. Ms. Deal, does anyone have any questions regarding that report? I know that there was a lot of, every year we kind of hear from some individuals regarding limitations that we have to place on graduations due to space and things. So I think it was important. I'm glad that we looked into the costs so people can understand, you know, what we budget versus what the cost would be if we did it elsewhere.
It's so basically the thing is if we book an exciting events, we have to make a decision by the Tuesday before saying, yes, we're going forward with it. So whether or not, if it's, you know, whatever. And we're talking about it. So, and we can't just say like, okay, well, we have a sound system at the WAC. We'll use that. They can bring this in. They're not going to do that. They got a package. We're bringing this in. We're setting it all up. This is our equipment. They're not going to mix it up or say, oh, we'll let, you know, lay people or parents can run the stuff. So, you know, essentially, and 33,500 is starting. That's just a starting price. So it's really a matter of like, you know, like, I mean, if we could guarantee 100%, there was going to be no weather issues. And then, yeah, then it becomes, okay, if there is a weather issue, do we push graduation off for a week? And then we have to pay for them to take it back in. And so it's a lot more complicated, I think, than people think. It's just not throwing some sound equipment and a stage on the field. So.
Right, and we do have to be cognizant of protecting the field as well, because obviously the turf itself is expensive. We want to make it in there, so there's certain things that need to be done to ensure that we do that. So, are there any next steps at this? Are we saying what this is? We're not considering this. We just looking at having.
I think that so what we said was go back to the high school. Essentially, Mr. Lesser and Summerfield, because Docky spends, I think, all 500 to 1,000 on their graduation because it's so small. So talking to them and you know, basically getting some feedback from them. So as to how they want to approach it.
Okay.
And then I can report back and let you guys know what
we're at.
We're at with this.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And any suggestions for future agenda items for Ms. Deal's committee? Seeing none, thank you very much, Ms. Deal. Move on to 9.3, board member reports and community events. Any community events board members attended they'd like to report on? Ms. Kaiser?
Like I said before, I saw Mary Poppins Jr., which was wonderful. And I got to take part in the parade this weekend, which was really well. I feel like there were so many more people on the route this year. And it was just really fun telling kids that they were on the nice list and that their parents were on the naughty list. So it was really fun.
Thank you, Ms. Kaiser. Ms. Carr?
So, earlier this week, I went to, I think it's going to be the first annual, I don't know if they'll do it again, but it was at the rec department. It was the Kinder Market where we had all of our students that wanted to participate. They had a craft fair. And I bought something at every booth, and it was very interesting. A couple of things. First of all, I love that it was cash only because it gave kids an opportunity to really have to use math in real life and count back change. And I made them do it. Like I was not bailing them out at all. And everybody was very successful with that. And it was delightful to see how many kids have all of those talents. Again, when we talk about athletics and theater and then the arts, all of those things are all like like what make up that well-rounded individual. And so I love to see that. And all next week when we have our board gift exchange, just so you know, the gift tags will all be student drawn, and because I bought them from them at the Kinder Market.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ms. Carr. Anyone else want to report events they attended? Ms. Steele?
Well, I was able to go to the parade. It was great this year, but I was also able to go to the Target experience. And again, a big thank you to the Zeman Foundation. This is my second year in a row that I was able to actually talk with Mr. Zeman. He's just such a wonderful guy. Like Dr. Robinson said, he doesn't want the recognition. He gets so excited when he's there. He's like literally like going up and down the line, talking to people, checking out what people are doing. So it's great energy, and it's really awesome because you literally like all the different schools are there, and then you have all the high schools are there who help with the shopping and such. It's a little chaotic, but like even like they said, they've gotten like Shelley and her team have gotten it down to so much of a science. It's like they're just getting these families in and out. And it's just great to see like just how grateful so many of our families are for this opportunity. And it's just seeing the kids smile, and then they get to see Santa and all that kind of stuff. So it's a great experience. And anytime we can extend a thank you to the Zeman Foundation, and we're very fortunate to have his support every year. So yep.
Thank you, Ms. Steele. Anyone else like to report on events that they attended? Mr. Becker?
Made it to a couple of basketball games over at FLW in recent weeks. Saw the FLW play at West Boys. It was a fun matchup to see. Made it over to the Target event, the shopping event Saturday for a little while too. Always nice to see all the volunteers from the teachers and leadership in the schools, and then all the kids. I saw at least 3 of the kids from The Voice. So I was really happy to see them too. Also made it over to see the play yesterday. So as everybody's always up talking about, these guys are just really developing, and seeing the way it's growing, and hearing the director refer to the talent pool. That was nice to hear that they're going to try a more difficult production. I had one more. I was at the parade, but I didn't walk.
We noticed. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Becker. Anyone else like to report on events that they attended? All right. As usual, I bring up the rear. I was at the parade. It was good as always. Always nice to be able to see everyone as well attended. And no, Dr. Robinson won't agree, but it's because it was warmer out than it was last year. So there was more people out because of that, undoubtedly. And my family all supported the Mary Poppins Junior production. Heard that it was again fantastic, and it's a testament to being able to provide this for our community, that it's a community. But I know that not everyone who participates in these productions attend our schools, but it does show that it is something that is truly a very great community amenity that we have, that provides this opportunity. I mean, the number of shows that our district puts on through the rec department is unheard of in area districts around us. So the fact that you have a show basically every month almost throughout the course of the school year and in the summer, I think is a huge kudos to be able to do that. And it's many opportunities to do. When I was in school, you had 2. You had a musical and a regular show, and that was it. So hopefully one of those ones you could get into and do. Now you have many opportunities. You can showcase more talent in that way, and it allows people to grow, right? More practice makes perfect, right? To be able to be in those productions for those who are on stage and those behind the scenes as well, and our music productions that go along with the musicals. So I think it's a great thing. I'm sure he did other things as well, but we'll just move this meeting along. So 9.4, I don't have anything additional. So we'll move on to our consent agenda this evening, starting at 10.1, approval of minutes from our regular Board of Education meeting on November 25th. 10.2, our employment summary, and 10.3, supplementary contracts. Is there anything we need separated out? If not, look for a motion.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. Then we're on to our action item this evening, 11.1, our 25-26 budget calendar. Mr. Norris.
Evening, everyone. I unfortunately lost my voice this weekend, so I'll be short, but so annually we come to the board looking for approval for the budget calendar. And so the calendar that we have, if you go back a few years, used to be a workshop. And through a lot of the financial issues we had, we developed systems to track controls over how we develop a budget, how we outline projected enrollment, how we staff the schools, and how that information gets to you guys, to the principals, to our staff. So as President Lee mentioned, that really kicks off here in about a month with projected enrollment and open enrollment, and then dives through February into our first crack at the first budget hearing, which is on staffing. And then really jumps into the preliminary tax levy first, number one in April. So this year, every other year, that process gets held up by the biennial budget. So that'll be probably a focal point of every conversation of, hey, what are we hearing? What are the conversations like at the state capitol? So while this process is outlined and it's fluid, again, it is a influx process, but it's shown to work. And so I think, as Dr. Robinson mentioned tonight, as a result of the audit findings, it's solid systems that have multiple points of effort among multiple people for pushback, for comments, for questions that really show how well a system's built. So I want to thank you guys for your support because, you know, we're all in this together. So with that, I'd ask for questions and hopefully approval.
Any questions from the board? All I would say is that yes, what you said is obviously what we're doing is working because you have 0 audit findings for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And so I think that, you know, there's always room for improvement, as I always say, but I don't think there's anything that needs to be changed with this budget calendar system we've had in place for a number of years now. So no other questions or comments from the board, I look for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. Moved and seconded, last minute discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Right, that passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Norris. And again, thank you for all the work that you've been doing to get our district in the financial situation that we're in right now. All right, so that is the end of our business for this evening. Do we need to set up? We have to go into the closed session, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna, I look for a motion and a second to convene into executive session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85 parent 1 parent D to review written evaluations of school safety drills as required under 2017 Wisconsin Act 143.
So moved.
Second.
We have roll.
Mrs. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mrs. Kaiser,
Yes.
Mr. Keller,
Yes.
Mrs. Lee,
Yes.
Ms. Deal,
Yes.
Mr. Sikich,
Yes.
President Lee.
Yes. All right, we'll take a brief break so we can go into executive session. Recess.